welcome. Hello, folks. Hello, chat. Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's doing great. Say howdy in the chat. I appreciate you guys being here as always. Whoa, do we got a lot to go through today? We got craziness out there, folks. Yeah, Tesla's crashing. We got just a bunch of wild stuff to go through today, folks. All right, so we'll get a little bit sent up. Let's get up some trading view. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. We don't want to see this. Oh boy. Are you flipping my flapjacks? Look at Tesla. Oh folks. Oh folks, this is no joke. It's a 10% plus mover down. Oh my word. Oh my word. Woo. Ay, ouchie. Ouchie, ouchie. Tesla down 10%. Ooh! That means public accounts getting smashed. Even if other stocks are pulling it up, still getting smashed. That's what I call it. Ooh, ugly. Ugly, ugly. So we took a peek at the indexes there for a moment, folks. Dow's down about 200 points here today. S&P 500's down 0.7%. NASDAQ getting hit. You know, I do wonder, man, if it wasn't for Netflix, I wonder how much Tesla would really be down here today. You know, given that, you know, I don't know, man. That's, I don't know. But anyway, so that's kind of looking at the indexes. Russell's actually the worst performer here today. VIX spiking up in a substantial way. VIX spiking over 20 here today, folks. Let's check out safety stocks here today. Safety stocks look to be getting hit as they pretty much get hit every day. Are we talking jam or are we talking jelly? Yeah, these stocks have been just rough, man. Rough. So they continue to get hammered. Let's look at possible buys. Rivian getting nailed today. Must be on the Tesla earnings. I don't know why these guys are getting nailed, but man, they're getting hit hard. Howdy, everybody in the chat. Hope everybody's doing phenomenal. Etsy's getting hit a little bit here today. RH getting hit. Come on, RH. Go under 200. Go under 200. Thank you, everybody that's following, by the way. Thank you, everybody that's subscribed. I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Thank you. Yeah. Let's see. What are we looking at next here? Stocks I'm hedged against. Looking pretty good as far as that goes. Tesla obviously getting nailed today. Toll Brothers have a lot of hedges against Toll Brothers. That stock's been getting hit quite a bit here recently, especially since I put on my hedges. I mean, look at it. So definitely like the move there. Polaris continues to get hit, $95 here today. This is beautiful. This is beautiful, folks. I need Apple down. Apple's the one that's holding up so steady, man. I need freaking Apple down. Come on, Apple. Have a Snapple and go down. Be crapple. All right, AI stocks. What are we looking at here? Banking stocks. Looking like a little down today when it comes to banking stocks, but nothing crazy. Obviously, Tesla's got the world's attention today with that 10% plus move down. We'll see where it finishes the trading day. But yeah, that's no small number there. Housing stocks today. Look at Redfin. Redfin's getting close to going under $5, folks. Are they going bankrupt? I think that's a big question. RH just went under 232. Love it. But yeah, these housing stocks are getting pounded and could potentially continue to get pounded. Let's check out my stocks here today. Then we're going to jump on Sen for a moment. So obviously Tesla's getting wrecked today. Some of the smalls are doing not so good, obviously with, the weakness we see out there. Hello, everybody in the chat. Hello. Let's see. So, somebody says Red Dead Redemption. Yeah, today definitely Red Dead Redemption for good old Tesla Master especially. But for honestly a lot of the market, let's pull up a heat map. I want to pull up a heat map, a Miami heat map stocks. There we go. Let's see. Yeah, a little bit of a mixed bag. By the way, is this heat map? Oh, somebody gifted somebody a sub. Now I know that noise. What a generous person. What a very generous person. Very, very generous. So do these numbers automatically update here? I wonder if I have this up, or does it... I'm very curious about that. If these numbers... No, I think I have to consistently... But anyways, I'm just going to jump in the chat here for a minute. Will you ever do a cooking stream where you flip some flapjacks? Hey, you never know. It's a possibility. Somebody saying, PayPal's PE is ridiculous. Yeah, that's for dang sure. But everybody's waiting on these earnings. But I love college football, so, Saturday from basically September to November, I just watch college football all day, and Fubo has it where you can put 4 games up at one time. So one of the beautiful things about that is, one game goes to commercials, then I watch the other game because you got 4 games up at one time, and it's almost never that all 4 games are at commercials at the same time. Like, it almost never happens. So, I almost never have to worry about ads when I'm watching, college football on Saturdays. But anyways, so a lot of people are saying they'd take the free sub. Shout out to whoever gave somebody a free subscription. That's pretty dang cool, man. Somebody gifted a sub. Maybe somebody's got some put options on Tesla here today. They're making bank. So, I'm going to go ahead and gift some subscribers, some subs out to some people so they can avoid the Twitch ads. Oh, gosh. Holy smokes, Jeremy's printing pancakes on his Tesla short. It's okay. It could be doing better. Let me see what that's at today. Because if you guys don't know, I do have a hedge on Tesla. Obviously, I'm a big Tesla shareholder, but I did put on a hedge going into these earnings because I was really afraid of what was going to happen. Oh! Why'd you make me log into the public account? It's awful, folks. Wait till we play the game. It's an ugly one, folks. But anyways, yeah, the Tesla puts are doing pretty decent today. I'll throw that up for you guys here so you can see how that's doing. But yeah, it's not going to be a fun game to play later today when we have to guess how much the public account's up or down. Ugh. That's going to be no bueno. No bueno for me. Maybe it's fun for everybody else to see, but bottom line is I should have hedged a little bit more, as in probably double the amount. I should have probably bought about 4 contracts. I think that would have been I probably went a little too conservative. So, anyways, it is what it is, right? What does everybody think Tesla stock price is going to close at today? My prediction is 217.17. I think Tesla's going to close at 217.17 here today. Everybody get in your guesses in the comments section. All right, so somebody says, I'll buy Tesla if it goes under 150. Don't want to raise my cost average. Okay, interesting. I'll dollar cost average if it goes under 200, somebody says. Okay. Jeremy flipping flapjacks while listening to Tesla earnings. Yikes, that's funny. How Twitch still unprofitable with all these ads? Are they unprofitable? I don't know. Nowadays they're owned by Amazon, so you don't really get too much clarity into whatever's going on. And once again, if you have Amazon Prime and you're subscribed here to my Twitch channel, then you don't have to deal with all the ads that Twitch shows you, which is very, very nice, right? Somebody says they made $400 on Tesla spreads. Ooh, congrats on that. Wow, okay. Somebody said, can you explain what she said in layman? Oh, I don't even remember what that Anastasia said, to be quite honest.
And that's supporting earnings. So I think that's why the reaction that you're seeing is sort of muted as a result. But I also have to talk about market technicals. And I think what's not at play right now is that corporate buybacks are not actually being executed right now. As these corporates are in blackout window due to their earnings, they're not the big buyer in the market that they typically are. CTAs have pulled back.
Dang, Jay Marl said he's going to give away another sub? Holy smokes. Jay Marl's, you're like the Warren Buffett of the chat, man. Holy smokes. If the expiration was sooner, it would be up way more. Okay. Yeah, that's true. And also, if I should have went further out of the money. So, it is what it is. Can yields calm down? Hopefully. Oh, we got some guesses for how Tesla stock will close. My guess is Tesla closes today at 217.17. Let's see. You guys are guessing 218. Dang, somebody said 212. Woo! If Tesla drops to 212 here at the end, that's going to be a massive, massive sell-off. Somebody said 217.16. Oh, you would. 218. Somebody says our cost base is 199. Wow. Interesting. Somebody says that it's going to close at 216.50. You're still holding the Tesla hedge. Yes, I am still holding my Tesla hedge. It's obviously having a pretty good day today. I do think it's up more than what Fidelity has it up, but whatever. Fidelity usually is pretty conservative. Oh, Tesla's now in the 217 range, folks. We'll see where this baby closes out. Maybe I was too conservative with the 217.17. Maybe we dump bigger here. Somebody says Enphase dropped again. You're not surprised. That one gets grouped into Tesla a lot of times, Enphase. And so a lot of times if you see Tesla get hit hard, Enphase gets hit as well. How is Tesla going to make money from Robotaxi and Optimus? We'll see. Those aren't even products in the market yet. Robotaxi, long term could potentially be a money maker, right? Car comes and picks you up, takes you to your destination, you pay a fee to it. I mean, it's not rocket science as far as that goes. Kind of like an Uber, but without the driver, right? Now people are asking Jay Marles for a sub. Everybody's asking Jay Marles for a sub. It's like asking Warren Buffett for, a can of soda. Like, Mr. Buffett, can I please have a can of Coke? Please, please. Somebody says they got a small Tesla position. Ooh, okay. Would you consider now in the next 12 months a good time to start a Tesla position? It depends if somebody's long-term thinking out or not, right? Certainly I'm long Tesla and plan to be long for, a lot of years. I'm very excited about the company, obviously, but just in the short term, we just have a lot of headwinds working against us. So somebody said, do you think the market will go even lower tomorrow? I don't know. It depends on many various factors. We have some earnings coming after the bell that are pretty important for the economy. So we'll see how those companies come in, what they report. And I think that will be important as well. So I say, you are the best. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. What do you think of SoFi and Robinhood? I don't know, man. I've looked into both several times and just, I don't know, just haven't been my cup of tea yet in regards to SoFi and Robinhood. But we'll see. Maybe I have a change of heart. They're two very different companies. I think that's important. Somebody thought they were like, very similar in the chat recently. I'm like, no, those are two very, very different companies, Robinhood and SoFi. Somebody says, you looked into e-commerce company, SPNG? No. Is that the Chinese one? If it's Chinese, I don't like it. Yeah, so after the bell, a few actually interesting companies reporting. Intuitive Surgical reporting, which it's so crazy, this Ozempic drug that everybody's talking about, right? That's supposed to help everybody lose weight and supposed to make everybody into a much better position. Now there's worries about there's going to be less surgeries done if that, Ozempic takes off. And so there's worries that could hurt Intuitive Surgical, which if you don't know Intuitive Surgical, basically make like these robots to help assist do different types of surgery, essentially, okay? So they're reporting after the bell. CSX is reporting after the bell, obviously a huge railroad operator, right? So I think always an important company to pay attention to. WD-40 is actually a little bit of an interesting one, but Knight and Swift is reporting after the bell as well, which is, certainly one of the biggest trucking outlets, if not the biggest trucking outlet in the United States of America. And so whenever Knight and Swift's basically going to tell you how's the economy shaping up, Knight and Swift's going to tell us, is it going to be likely a pretty good holiday season? What are they looking like for demand? And so I think these are the sorts of companies that are super important to pay attention to if you actually want to know how the economy is doing. Pay attention to, because at the end of the day, if the economy is doing bad, trucking is going to get hammered, right? Rail car operators are going to get hammered. If things are doing pretty good and these companies have good things to say, it obviously means you're in a fairly bullish economy at that given moment, right? So just a little food for thought there. Taking a peek at the heat map. It's not, it's a little Red Dead Redemption out there today. Look at Eli Lilly, 3.2% down. there. What do we got going on here? Oh, this is real estate. REITs down. Obviously, we know about Tesla. My also getting wrecked today. Thank you, everybody that's following here. Thank you, everybody that's subscribed. I appreciate y'all being here. Wow, Applied Materials getting hit hard today. 4.5%. Interesting. Wow. Wow, Applied Materials getting hit hard today. 4.5%. Interesting. Wow. What do we got going on here? A little tech there. Communication services. Comcast, 2% hit here today. AT&T's up 7%. You'll be flipping my flapjacks. I haven't seen AT&T go up in like 100 years, I feel like. Tesla, my Tesla. Anybody writing articles today? Revenue growth slows, net income declines, recovery. Oh, this guy says strong buy. Consider buying the drop in Tesla stock post Q3 earnings. What's he saying here? Tesla stock dropped after disappointing Q3 earnings announcement, but margin compression is expected to be transitory, they're saying. Margin compression occurred due to price cuts, inflation, and high borrowing costs negatively impacting Tesla's bottom line. Tesla's fundamental backdrop is expected to strengthen as the economy improves, leading to higher stock price in the future. The $220 to $200 range is an attractive long-term entry for Tesla, he says. Okay. Okay. Let's see what else people are writing here. Tesla expects shares to reiterate lower on reality-biting growth in margins. Elon Musk's bearish outlook on Cybertruck sales and profitability also impacted investor sentiment. Post Q3 reporting, I update my growth and margin expectations for Tesla and now calculate $197 implied share price. And it's not down that much from here. I would have, with a headline like that, I thought it would have been, let's call it a lot scarier in regards to that, right?
An offset. Look, the top income quintile represents 40% of all consumer spending in the U.S., and that's why we saw tremendous weakness among the lower income consumers. But in the aggregate, consumer spending has looked fine, right? What we've seen is that the wealthy drew down much more of that excess savings than we had expected them to, and really pursuing those really high dollar experiences, super luxury travel. And this was a global luxury consumer story, and it's only just now started to slow as we've met pent-up demand. But it all comes down to the wealthy when it comes to consumer spending. So what gets them to stop? Loss of real estate wealth, which I don't expect. Our housing strategists don't expect because nobody's moving. Nobody's got homes up for sale. And so valuations. The other thing is white-collar layoffs. We had tech round. We've had a round in finance, but we've not seen broad-based white-collar layoffs. That's the other thing that can get the wealthy to stop spending, and that's what we have to be watchful for. But as you said, initial jobs claims are still very low.
End phase.
In terms of inflation itself, we all talk about the inputs to it, how it should be trending based on how restrictive policy might be in a conceptual basis. Do you expect the actual measured inflation to be coming down in a way that's going to persuade the Fed and the markets that they're on the right track for now? Presumably, Powell's never going to say definitively, we're done, mission accomplished, until we're at 2%. But are we on the way there?
I do think we're on the way there. It's a matter of, do we get there with a steady deceleration in inflation, or do we sort of have periods where we might sort of look like we've lost that deceleration, then we pick it up again? And that's where the Fed has to really, its patience will be tested at those times. I think especially late this year into the first quarter of next year. But our expectation is that inflation will continue to come down. Look, nothing has changed in terms of the way inflation develops over the business cycle. And we're seeing it play out right now. Households are substituting down. They are, for instance, substituting away for cheaper goods. It turns out we don't have unlimited tolerance for higher prices. It's something businesses have been saying. They've reached that limit of being able to pass on price increases. And when we substitute from higher price goods to lower price goods and services, it changes that weight in these inflation indices. And that's a constant reflection. And that's why as we get later in the cycle, when financial expectations are not as high of households, you start to get that downward pressure that accelerates on inflation. I think that happens as we move further into next year.
All right, Ellen, we can certainly hope. Appreciate the time today. Ellen Zentner from Morgan Stanley. Don't miss noted Fed watcher Jim Grant in overtime today at 4 p.m. Eastern. He will break down Chair Powell's speech and give his outlook for for where rates are headed. Straight ahead, bracing for big tech with market heavyweights
Can't
Microsoft,
wait.
Amazon, and Alphabet all reporting earnings next
Can't
week.
freaking
With a
wait.
shareholder that owns all three, and he's waving the caution flag ahead of those mega cap results. He'll make his case next.
Ooh, I actually want to hear that. That's interesting. Oh, look at Tesla starting to bounce a little bit here. Bouncy little Tesla, my Tesla. Wow. Little bouncy. We'll see. So everybody, we did predictions earlier. You might not have been here, but we did predictions on where Tesla will close at today. My prediction was 217.17. We'll see. But everybody in the comments was putting in their guesses. Well, we shall see. Ooh, it's here.
We're going to get earnings from the majority of those names next week, right? And the market has been looking for a reason to bring those names back down to gravity. You've got a forward PE on the S&P at like 18, roughly 32 on average on those names. And so they better bring it to support that kind of a PE again and again, quarter after quarter. And I'm not so sure, just based on what we've been seeing so far, sentiment-wise, that the market's even going to reward them if they do have the goods and earnings reports are favorable.
I mean, Netflix is obviously smaller. It's different as well. It's doing something, it's subscription-based. It's direct to consumer. But the market was seemingly a little bit nervous ahead of that and did reward, that stock. So the capacity's there, I guess, if they do have the numbers.
But Netflix, to me, is more of a story of the writer's strike for 6 months, right? On the network, the entire 6 months, we're talking about how they're the only option when you talk about fresh content, right? And so I think this is more of us just getting confirmation that they were the only good thing happening when it came to content. And we also are seeing like 2 million or so, 2.5 million additional subscribers that they got that they didn't expect. Almost 9 million new subscribers. Is that really sustainable for a company like Netflix going forward, right? I just don't think that.
To be fair, everybody's been wondering if Netflix subscriber numbers could be sustainable. I've heard that talked about for years, folks. Years they've been talking about, are these subscriber numbers sustainable? And then Netflix somehow comes through and puts up a crazy number. Shocking.
It's not 32, like you mentioned before. So does that seem to be in the reasonable zone, or how would you approach it?
So Alphabet, I'm a little bit more concerned of for a different reason, and it's more to do with their legal battles, right?
Yep.
I think that Alphabet is actually the one
100%.
that Lena Khan's team actually can land a glove on if any of the mega cap techs that she's after, there's actually a shot. And so just the distraction that we know goes along with fighting off a court battle with the government makes me concerned that Google Alphabet's going to be a little bit distracted and not on the right path for a while. But I definitely do think of them, Microsoft is probably the one that I'm most positive on, I'm most excited about, and I think will actually continue some growth trajectory going forward through this rough patch we're talking about.
Fancy CNBC.
Solely because in the AI battle, save for maybe NVIDIA, they're the only one likely to do really well and see profit from the AI wave near term, right? And so just based on their ownership stake in OpenAI and what's happening there, I think Microsoft is the one that can tell a compelling story regardless of what the macro environment is doing.
Yeah, folks made a fair bit of fuss this week on that report that Amazon was going to be, getting some licenses for Microsoft Office 365. It's $1 billion over a few years. I mean, it's not a lot of money.
Sure.
But it would.
Everybody, make sure you're following. If you're not following in the chat yet, make sure you hit that follow button. And subscribe if you don't want Twitch to serve you up a bunch of commercials on my channel. And if you got Amazon Prime, free subscription.
We can't necessarily do this without you. Also, Amazon had brought itself out as sort of the everything store for AI development, right? We want developers to come build on our chassis, and regardless of what you're building, we've got access to all the large language models. For them to concede that and have to...
So to be honest, this gentleman and me just have very different views. Very different views on... So let me go through... You guys want to know what companies I think are going to report good earnings this earnings season? Let me go through the ones that stick out for me that are going to report really good earnings when it comes to big tech. Just big tech, okay? PayPal. I believe PayPal is going to report very good earnings. I think Shopify is going to report at least decent earnings, if not good earnings. So PayPal, I think, is going to be very good earnings, top and bottom line. Meta is going to be great earnings, top and bottom line, especially bottom line, which the EPS increase on a year-over-year basis is going to be shocking. Intuit's going to continue to put up good numbers. They pretty much are penciled in and quarter out. Same thing with Adobe. I think Google's going to report decent numbers. Once again, they do have the overhang of the government stuff going on, but I think they should be fine. NVIDIA is going to report great earnings, no doubt about it. Big question is guidance, right? But their earnings will be great. Apple somehow reports roughly in line almost every quarter. So I don't know. We'll see. But Apple somehow gets the job done. Amazon, very confident in Amazon's earnings. Should be very exciting top and bottom line for Amazing's on. AMD seems like it's more of a 2024 play in terms of their starting to hit as far as earnings go. So, and Microsoft always puts up great numbers, quarter in, quarter out, right? That's Mr. Softy. So that's kind of how I feel. To be honest, the company I felt the least confident in has already reported now at this point in time, which was Tesla. Tesla was a company I was the least confident in of probably any stock, to be quite honest, that I hold. I don't think there was another stock I hold that I'm more... Let me go through the stocks I hold. By the way, thank you everybody that's following. Thank you everybody that's subscribed here. You get a free subscription with Prime, so Twitch doesn't serve you up a bunch of ads, by the way, on this channel. Let's take a peek here. Is there any stock I was less confident in than Tesla? Honest, I'm never confident in. They screw it up every quarter, so I don't know. But let's see. Palantir, I'm so freaking confident in Palantir. To be honest, there's not one stock I hold that I was less confident in than Tesla for this earnings. So the great thing for me is I just got out of the company I was least confident in. They're by far and away, if I look at every stock I have money in, they're by far and away the company I was least confident in for their earnings in terms of revenue, margins, and profitability, EPS, net income. So that's now out of the way. So that's good. Got it out of the way, man. And now all my other, companies are going to be reporting. And like I said, some of these companies I'm extremely confident in are going to put up great numbers. Some of them a little bit more wary, or let's just call it, kind of in the middle. Palantir, I'm so freaking amped for Palantir. Avant already put up their numbers. They put up great numbers. They've been putting up great numbers. The stock's not getting any respect or any love, but they've actually been putting up very, very impressive numbers quarter in, quarter out here recently. But yeah, Amazon super confident in, Palantir super confident in, PayPal super confident in, and Meta insanely confident in. And Target I'm actually pretty confident in as well, that they're going to start to turn that ship around. So I need to add as much Target as I possibly can here in the short term. Outside of those, I would say everything else is kind of like, I wouldn't say I'm unconfident. I also wouldn't say I'm super confident in regards to that, right? So that's kind of where I'm at. Alrighty, so now what I want to go ahead and do is I want to jump back into the chat. Let's get into the chat. Somebody said they love my input. Tesla's about 6 months to 1 year late on Cybertruck. They should have started Cybertruck production going into rate hike cycle and prioritize high margin with the help of Cybertruck rather than scaling up Model 3, Model Y to the point where they have to resort to repeated price cuts to move inventory to avoid production shutdowns. Tesla pretty much have to shut everything if the Gigafactory lot gets full, unlike traditional car dealerships, which with much bigger lots to hold new. Yeah, I mean, Tesla can still move cars anywhere. They can, Tesla's famous for having random parking lots in different places. They'll store vehicles in different cities and things like that. So I don't think that's really an issue in my personal opinion. But in terms of Cybertruck, I think they've been trying to scale it faster, but it's just I think they're running into a lot of issues, to be honest. I think they would very much like to have Cybertruck already rolling, but they just have a lot of issues going on, I think, behind the scenes in regards to getting that vehicle ramped up here. By the way, I was curious about Netflix. Netflix, pushing close to a 17% move. Somebody says WBA going under 20. We'll see. Hims is calling my name, they say. Great balance sheet. Revenue growth is there. Solid margins. Has Hims gotten no net income positive yet? That I'm curious about in regards to HIMs. Are they net income positive yet? Why can't Tesla act as a bank and charge consumers with a 750 credit score a 2 to 3% interest? They could sell a ton more cars, further the gap with competitors. Crazy thought. Well, the problem is there's a lot of situations when you talk about trying to become a bank that makes things difficult. But, if you have to borrow from the Fed funds rate 5% plus, and then you're going to do a loan at 2 or 3%, well, then you're going to lose a ton of money on kind of that in between of several percentage points, right? So, that makes you far less profitable, and when your margins are already getting hit, that could actually take your margins into negative territory. So, you'd have to work out a lot of math in regards to that. I'm sure Elon and the team has probably maybe considered that, but that would be. Elon keeps saying high interest rates are killing car sales, but based upon my calculation, $50K car loan at a 7% rate comes out to only $60 a month more than when rate was 3%. It's way less than the impact on a mortgage. So yes, way less than an impact on a mortgage, no doubt about that. That's certainly true. But, at the end of the day, I think, even $60, I just think there's overall sentiment in the market of kind of being anti bigger ticket purchases, right? And also with interest rates being higher, banks aren't as likely to lend to some folks as they might previously have, right? So I think that's also something that should be considered in regards to that. How far do you think Tesla's going to drop? So I predicted yesterday that I think there's probably I said an 85% probability Tesla's going under 200 within the next, either few weeks or few months. And I think there's probably a 50-50 if the stock's going to go under 150. So, we can call it 140 to maybe 190, something like that. Worst case scenario versus maybe best case scenario. Regarding robotaxi, Elon has to wake up. No LiDAR, no full self-driving. Just look at how other legit self-driving companies have been doing. Waymo is years ahead and is already deployed in Phoenix, San Francisco, LA as of today. Just count how many cameras in LiDAR there are on Waymo car. Elon really expects Dojo to learn full self-driving on 8 crappy cameras. Garbage is garbage out. Full self-driving will never happen on current, highway revisions? Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. We'll have to, that's a deep subject in itself that we could probably talk 20, 30 minutes about, honestly, right there alone. Tesla actually approved sub-tier creditors. Okay. Interesting. Hey, Jeremy, are you reconsidering your conviction on PayPal? Nope. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. If I saw the numbers get far worse, if they all of a sudden started reporting crap numbers, then yeah, I would, think, oh boy. But you look at their last quarterly results, they're freaking phenomenal. And if they report more great results this quarter, nah. By the way, Tesla's bouncing a little bit here, folks. 219. My 217.17 is not looking very good now. There's less than 10 minutes left in this trading day, folks. Less than 10 minutes. We're going to see where Tesla finishes out. But yeah, 217.17's not looking very good. What's going on with Enphase, guys? Why is that stock 5%? Something's going on. What's going on with Enphase? 5 point. What? Anybody know what's going on with Enphase? Oh, somebody says there might be another solar company getting hit. Solar Edge news hit and hit Enphase. What's going on with Solar Edge? What in the world? Solar Edge. What is the ticker on Solar Edge? No, that's not it. Solar Edge. No, that's not it. Anybody know the ticker? Oh, SEDG. Okay, let's see what's going on here. So that stock was down 5% plus today, but what happened? They just reported some news? Enphase cut at Scotiabank. That was earlier today. What is going on here, folks? Oh my gosh, look at Enphase after hours, guys. 107? 106? Whoa. What is going on here? Something's going on. Wow. 7.9% down? Let's see. Pretty sure we'll see $100, 85 possible. No precision, blah, 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 blah. 10%? It just hit 104? What is going on with Enphase, guys? Damn it. Even going back to last year, I was like considering like S-Dow, I was considering Enphase, and oh my gosh, did I miss stupid money. I mean, you look at the drop just from where the stock entered the year, right? I mean, this was stock entered the year, and by the way, it was already getting hit going into the year. But, $233. It's lost well over 50% of its value this year. Damn it! I should have freaking made a move. Oh my gosh. Wow. What a hit. Before we get back into Enphase, let me just explain to everybody real quick on what's actually going on in the trucking industry. I want everybody to keep this in mind in the future because I do think it's an important subject to understand the trucking industry and what really happens there. By the way, shout out to if there's any truckers watching this video here today. I know on my YouTube channel, the main channel, is a lot of truckers that watch my channel and whatnot. But basically what happens in the trucking industry, and everybody needs to understand this, is you go through these time periods when, let's say the economy's booming, right? Like, really was happening in the goods sector in 2020 and 2021. And you get a lot of smaller operators enter the trucking market. And they start buying trucks. And so a guy, buys a truck and then buys a second truck, third truck, fourth truck. And things are booming. Things are doing great for him, right? He's obviously leveraging up to usually buy those trucks because he's not going to be able to buy those trucks cash. Then all of a sudden, a downturn hits, which is what we went through in the goods sector, right? Goods sector got hit hard, obviously, last year and into the beginning of this year. And so that sent a lot of these trucking guys actually out of business over this past year. So a lot of the small players have now gone belly up. They've gone bankrupt. They've had to sell off their trucks, or their trucks got taken away from them because they weren't able to pay the loans. The big guys come in, buy those trucks for pretty cheap prices, and they also take whatever customers those guys had, right? And the big guys get stronger and stronger and stronger. And that's the story of the trucking industry. It's the story of the small guys come in when the market's hot. They build these little businesses. They think they're going to take over the world. Next thing you know, the market turns. They go bankrupt. The big guys come in because they have the scale and they have the sort of customer relationships that they can get through the tough times as well. They come up, pick the trucks up for cheap. They pick up those customers that those smaller players had that now they're not sustainable. And they become bigger, more powerful than they ever were before. That's the story of the trucking industry, and I just wanted everybody to understand really what goes on there in that industry, and it's been like that for decades. And I mean, I don't want to say it's going to be like that forever, but it's just something that consistently happens in the trucking industry. So usually, if you see a lot of small trucking operators starting to add more and more trucks, you usually know you're probably at close to a peak cycle. And you're probably going to be for a big downward cycle likely coming in that next 12-month span or something like that. So certainly if you go back to the end of 2021, there was a lot of small truck operators that were making a lot of money. And man, did things flip quick, folks. Speaking about things that flip quick, look at Enphase. Wow. So it looks like it's kind of hit him in a bottom here. So here's what happened. SolarEdge, right? SolarEdge reported after the bell, pre-announced after the bell. They didn't even have earnings today. And so when you get a pre-announcement, you know something's bad going on, right? They pre-announced $725 million midpoint versus $900 million was expected. So just a monumental revenue miss. It got worse from there. Gross margin expectations, 20.6 versus 29.5 was expected. I mean, Tesla missed margins, but Tesla missed margins by like this much. This is like this much, okay? This isn't even, it's like a night and day difference. No pun intended compared to Night and Swift there. That's insane, folks. Operating income comes in at 21.5 mil versus 125 mil was expected. Freaking disaster. And so that likely means Enphase is going to report bad numbers. The question is, does Enphase come in and report a disaster quarter? Enphase is almost guaranteed to report a bad quarter now that you've seen these numbers. It's just a question of do they report a disaster? Because let's be quite honest, this is a disaster. Like Tesla last night, they missed on EPS, they missed on revenue, they missed on margins. It was a bad earnings, right? But it wasn't a disaster. There's a difference between a disaster earnings and a bad earnings. Bad earnings, like you missed your numbers, but it wasn't like, wow, this is like end of the world. This, what you're looking at in front of you right there, folks, that's a disaster, okay? And so that's why Enphase stock's getting absolutely obliterated after hours, despite it getting nailed today. It was down $8 a share today. And then to be down another $12 a share after hours, right? And who knows where the fallout will be tomorrow. If I had a guess, some retail folks might get margin called tomorrow. Some retail folks might, jump out of this baby tomorrow, right? That's just my guess in regards to this, and that could put additional selling pressure on Enphase. So Enphase, used to trade at trailing Ps of like 192. And by the way, it used to be a lot more than that. I don't have the data for previously, but I remember Enphase would trade at 200, 300. It just was very highly valued, right? And so they needed to put up such ridiculous growth. But the problem is when you go into a higher interest rate environment, it's going to be harder for solar to put up that sort of growth rates that could sustain, the valuations it was commanding. You need to just grow at a parabolic clip. And when all of a sudden that growth slows in a major way, you get hammered, right? And that's also the story of Tesla stock. Why is Tesla stock, Tesla stock used to be over $400 at the peak. Tesla stock today is just over 200. Why is that? Well, the growth slowed down substantially compared to what Tesla was growing at previously, right? And when you have something like that play out, it's a hard hit, man. So, let's see. Somebody asked me about Mercado Libre stock. I really don't have an opinion on that one. But anyways, guys, I've been on the stream for, 2 hours now. I gotta get a main channel video prepped. I don't know what I'm going to talk about, but I got a lot of damn things to talk about for that video. Whoo, baby, do we have a lot of things to talk about. So I got to get preparing that. Thank you, everybody that's joined me for the stream here today, folks. I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. As always, before you leave, make sure you're following or make sure you're subscribed. If you have Amazon Prime, you get a free subscription to the channel, and they won't show you any ads for these future live streams, folks. Fun market, folks. Fun market. We got drama, mad drama in this market right now, and it's not going to end. We got a lot more drama coming over this next, I can tell you, next 30 days. This next 30 days, so much freaking drama. You won't even believe it, okay? So appreciate everybody being here as always. Thanks so much, chat. By the way, my chat's on my left-hand side, so that's why I look this way. I know the camera's there, but always looking at you, chat. So appreciate you guys. Thanks so much. Much love as always. And I will see you guys on the main channel tonight. And then obviously see you on the reaction channel on YouTube. And then on terms of live, I'll see you guys outside of something crazy happening tomorrow. I'll see you on Monday. So much love and peace.